So Torvar, you've had a busy year, a year of ups and downs, as you said yourself earlier on in the week when I spoke to you. We just wanted to have a quick chat with you about how you feel the year has gone and where you are now, and a little bit about what's happened this year. So let's start at the beginning of the year. You know, you were coming in fresh to the Wave Muscat, the Extreme Sailing Series and the World Match Racing Tour. Just start from there.
Yeah, it was a great year for us to start. Being really busy as a sailor is the best thing you can be, and had plenty of sailing to do, and all in the right direction of making the America's Cup, and that's been something we've been working towards with this World Match Racing Tour and our sailing for a few years now. So the Extreme 40s and this World Match Racing Tour are a perfect place for us to be.
Okay, and obviously you had a great time with the Wave Muscat. They funded you to do the Extreme 40s, and you came here. You took someone's place from the Extreme 40s next year. You must have thought that everything was looking really good, and you were on track for a cup team.
I didn't really think about a cup team so much. I just wanted to go out there, get sailing, and be amongst the most competitive series to see what happens. And I wasn't sort of thinking America's Cup this year or anything straight away. I just wanted to prove myself again in another discipline, and the Extreme 40s was perfect for that, and that just adds to a good resume, I guess. And for sure it's been the Wave Muscat are a great team, and Oman Sail's a great company that's working out of Oman and really boosting Oman and with sailing there and the tourism. So it's great for us young sailors to get in there and compete with such a team.
And just tell me a little bit about the team. You've obviously got the guys. You've formed a pretty tight bond throughout the beginning of the year. A couple of you sailed the Extreme 40s. You're here. How has that worked in choosing the dynamic of your team?
We've been a team now for quite a long time. Graham, Tids, Kyle, Kinley. We're I think that's the most important part of our racing, is making sure that we're working together, and if you decided to change our team, it'd probably take a while before we're back up to the same level again. And that's really the nuts and bolts of our success, is how well we work together.
And you took a couple of those guys, obviously they're your full complement here on the World Match Racing Tour, a couple of those guys onto the Extreme Sailing Series. Was it difficult sort of splitting the team up a little bit? Because obviously you can't have all five of you on the boat for the Extreme Sailing Series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kyle and Kinley came with me to Oman Sail, to the Extreme 40s. Basically, with the Extreme 40s, they're looking for main sheet guys, and to fit in with the skippers as well. So that was perfect for us. It was a bit of a shame that Graham and Tids couldn't make it as well. But the way the Oman Sail campaign with Extreme 40s works is we try and include as many Omanis in the program as possible, so that that meant that Graham and Tids had to miss out, which was a shame for our team, and it made it hard because the three youngest in our team took the jobs and the oldest guys didn't, and that was pretty tough for them at the time. But we just got to make the most of the opportunities we get, and now Graham's helping out with China team and getting his own opportunities as well.
And do you think that made you guys as a team sort of a little bit more complicated here on the World Tour? Obviously you guys going off and doing the Extreme Sailing Series, Graham and Tids not doing that. When you came back together, was there any friction? Do you think it affected your performance at all, or your relationship?
No, we're all really happy for each other, and in the end, what we're doing together as a team puts us individually further ahead. We could never do it on our own. So we realised the strength of us being together will get us further individually. So it's almost like selfish reasons that we need to be a team. I mean, Graham still tried to sail as much as possible. He had 505s and other sailing that he was doing, and Tids was match racing more. So just filling their times with as much, as many things as they can that will help with their sailing careers.
So just tell me, obviously the opportunity for a cup team came along, amazing at your age. Just tell me how that all came about.
I think, Venezia Challenge, we're looking for a young team, and, us being one of the young teams in the right fields with the World Match Racing Tour and the Extreme 40s, I think they saw that as the right ingredients for what they were looking to do. And, that was to make a long-term project with it being commercially viable and a good platform that way. That was their goal, and I think they're still trying to pursue that. So uh, we had some connection in there with some of the guys who were founding it and that we knew in Australia, and we seemed to fit their mould.
Okay, and how did that decision-making process go? I mean, obviously you decided to go with that team, and that meant that you had to cut back on some of your other commitments.
Yeah, well, I think I was very enthusiastic about making the America's Cup, and when that opportunity arrived in front of me, it was, I take that really seriously. And at the time, obviously sailing the World Match Racing Tour in the Extreme 40s was a really big decision for me. The Extreme 40s and the America's Cup thing clashed, and so there had to be a decision made so that if I wanted to be the skipper of Venezia, I had to quit the Extreme 40s, which was it really took me a long time to make that decision. But I really believed that Venezia would make the start line and be out there competing, and for me to be the skipper of an America's Cup team and choosing crew and all that sort of thing was really hard to turn down, and that's I think Carlo and Cesare from Venezia did a great attempt and had a good feeling about putting the team together, but obviously didn't quite get the money there, which was required and the most important thing.
Was there anyone that was really key in your sort of decision-making process and giving you advice on what they thought was the right thing for you to do, in the industry?
I reached out to many sailors actually that I respected, and had some chats about them, not specifically about with Venezia Challenge, but with just sailing careers and choosing what to do, and I think they gave me a lot of advice, and I still thought this was a really big opportunity for me, and in hindsight, obviously it's really easy to speak and say that right now I'm pretty empty-handed, and it's pretty frustrating, but I got good advice, and I've learned a lot of lessons from having this opportunity that Venezia tried to make for me, and so I don't feel sour about that. It's just annoying that the events clashed and I couldn't fit them all in and still be with the Extreme 40s as well as the World Match Racing Tour.
Now, what did the guys, who were sailing the Extreme 40s with you from your team feel when, you said, "Sorry guys, I'm off to do the Cup now"? I mean, how did that conversation go down?
Oh well, I mean, the Wave Muscat are a great team, and I had a really good time, and I'd like to think they had a good time with me as well. And there's so many good sailors out there, and everyone really wants to be a part of the Extreme 40s this year. So it wasn't our coach Lee McMillan has also proven himself in the Extreme 40s before, and he was ready to step in. So it wasn't difficult for the Wave Muscat to replace me, I guess, which is a shame, but that I'm happy for them, and they've done really well.
And Kyle and Kinley, obviously, they've stayed sailing on the Wave Muscat and the Extreme Sailing Series. You went off to do the Cup thing. You're all back here together. How are things with them? How's team morale?
Well, it's great that they didn't have to quit the Extreme 40s. They're really good sailers, and they're doing really well in the Extreme 40s in their positions. And I think as with my position to be the skipper of Venezia, I had to make the choice between the two, whereas they didn't really have to make the choice to be a crew on Venezia. They could miss some of the events that clashed, and we could work around it with Venezia, but for me to take the helming job, it was sort of all or nothing.
And when you were told that Venezia wasn't going to happen and that was it, and it was time to close the doors on that, I mean, how did you feel?
We were in Portugal for a very long time, setting up boat number 8, which was out the 45 allocated to Venezia, and hanging around watching it all being put together and everything, and then we were not allowed to go sailing until some things had been sorted out, and that was pretty difficult, just to sit there and watch other teams go sailing, being there and seeing that we couldn't. That was pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, and now that obviously the 45s are going into their second event now in Plymouth in a couple of weeks' time, and I mean, there must be a massive part of you that thought so close, and yet it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy right now to get frustrated and upset about stuff like that as a sailor if you're missing out on a job. And I'm not the first person that things like this have happened to, and I still see there's a long way to go. And to be honest, being the boss of not the boss, but being the helmsman of a cup team at a young age may not be the best thing to do all the time. I'm still very much in a learning phase of my career, and want to get out there and just go sailing and not really think about the whole campaign of things. I just want to win and be around really good guys, and so life goes on, and I'm sure there'll be many opportunities. I just got to get out there and keep sailing.
So obviously it's a massive amount of pressure to have on your shoulders. You've got all these decisions about what you're going to do, what you're going to say to the team, who you're going to say yes to, who you're going to say no to. And I've certainly seen you at the last couple of events, and I don't know you particularly well, but you seem to have been a little bit distracted, and perhaps it's affected your performance a little bit. Do you feel like it's had a big impact on your sailing and on your general kind of life strategy? It's a big thing, all of this that's been going on.
Yeah, I would say yes. This year it's been definitely different moods to last year's and to previous years. And I think also our team is making that stage where we're getting more and more opportunities in sailing, which is exactly what we've been out to do. So we're really happy with how our progress has been. And our results on the match racing this year are probably not quite where we would like them to be. And I think that shows from us sort of trying to have, we're more hungry for results and sort of other things that have been going on and maybe haven't quite clicked and prepared as well as we could have for some of the match racing events.
Okay, and what's your plan going forward? I mean, you seem a lot more relaxed here in St Moritz than you have been, for the past couple of months. You seem happy, you seem kind of back on form, and obviously you can't go back to sailing the Extreme 40s. Lee McMillan's got your spot on the Wave Muscat. So what's your plan? Are you just enjoying not being under pressure, not being too stressed about life?
I'm just trying to figure out how to get out there and get sailing. I was just saying the guys here just had so much fun these few days without any pressures or any worries, and just getting out there and going sailing. And I mean, in the end, that's all we want to do, is be a part of competition and compete the best we can. And to do that here in St Moritz is great. And in between, I'm just looking to do the same things as well.
So, I mean, would the plan to be go back and try and do an Extreme 40 as well, and try and have those two projects, or are you kind of done with that and looking to do something else a bit different?
Oh, for sure. The Extreme 40s are a great place to sail, and they have good events. It feels very similar to the World Match Racing Tour, and I'd recommend that everyone does both things. And as I'm also interested in just doing some dinghy sailing. Maybe an ACAT or Moth or 49 or something, just to keep sailing all the time, and that's all I want to do, is just be the best I can.
And your team as well, the same with them, obviously, Kinley and Carr still Extreme 40 sailing, and how are you trying to keep that dynamic between the five of you going? Yeah,
our team's still got quite a lot on. I mean, Graham's doing a little bit with China team. I think Tid's doing a fair bit of coaching, and maybe a bit of, he's on a Soto 40 and maybe on a 52, and Kyle's, I think, joined up with one of the cup teams as well, and Kinley's got heaps of sailing on with the Extreme 40s as well. So all of our team is really getting out there and amongst it, and it's just really good feeling that we've made it to this stage.
And all in all, do you feel like this year with the experience with Venezia has been a positive one, or do you regret it? Do you wish you'd sort of held fast and stayed with the Wave Muscat and carried on the Extreme 40s? I know it's probably not an easy question. I
thought long and hard about it, and I guess there was always a risk that any team could not make the start line with money. Money is a huge part of sailing game and any sport for that matter, and so I would love to be back sailing the Extreme 40s again and still be there, but that's the way it goes, and I just got to get out there again and get sailing, and I'm sure next season something good will come up.
Were you ever worried about people's sort of perception of you and the decisions that you've made, and you think, oh, here we go, Torvar left the Extreme 40s to go and do a cup thing, and that's folded, and did you ever worry about what people were kind of looking in and thinking of your decisions, and how you've been left sort of slightly stranded?
I mean, there's so many people that would probably tell me afterwards what I should have done, but I'm not sure anyone would have done much different if they were in my position. And you know, if I had someone to tell me exactly what was going to happen or what will happen and what I should do, you know, everyone would be sorted in life, wouldn't they? So it's you know, that's just how it goes. And I think, you know, one of my lessons is that the you know, most important is something like we've got in our team match racing here, the Wave Muscat team, is just being around the right guys. And no matter where you go, whichever team, just the team around you is the most important thing. And if you've got the best guys around you, you perform the best, and you'll get the recognition you deserve. So it's not always about maybe the highest and most glamorous thing. It's about working with the people around you.